I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step instructions on how to make foam board pencil signs. We're going to start with this 2 foot by 2 foot by 1 inch board. This one here is from Home Depot. You can pick up this square board really easily. They cost about $10 in my area. And guess what? We're not going to use a projector or a hot foam tool for this project. I have a reference photo there just to look at on my computer, and then I just have a variety of paints that I like to use. Don't overthink it, just get the colors that you want, and I like to use a white chalk paint as my base color, so I will be showing you that as well. We're going to do our best using this white acrylic marker, making light strokes just to kind of get an idea of what size we want our pencils to be. Now, in hindsight, you could split this evenly in 3 and get 3 pencils out of this board, but I wasn't sure what size pencils I wanted to do, so I got some that were a little wider and some that were a little bit more narrow, just to kind of play around with the design and what I like. You do what you want. If you want more skinny pencils, you can squeeze in more in here, or you can do like me and get about 3 pencils out of 1 foam board. My marker is kind of like a wider tip marker. It's not too pointy, and again, you don't want to press too hard on your board. It is foam, so you really are not trying to make like indents necessarily. You're just trying to get your guide so that you can see where you're going to put your paint, and you can play around with the design as much as you want. You can find a pencil design that you like and change it up. I love how you can customize this exactly how you want, and you can make it as, as difficult as you want, or as easy as you want, as intricate as you want, or as simple as you want. I found my design in Canva. I looked around and just found one that I liked. I was originally going to show you guys 3 different types of pencils, but I ended up just liking the one that I chose first of all a lot, so we pretty much went with the same pencil. The only difference is I did them in a variety of sizes just so I could see which one I like best. So I've got the 1 pencil on there, and then after that I squeezed in 2 more, and once we had that all outlined, it's time to paint. So I'm putting my apron on, and we're going to start with a chalk paint. I like chalk paint just because it has great coverage. It's going to cover up this pink board, and when you're working with lighter colors like yellow or orange, this is just really great for it to shine through a little bit more true. And you can tint this if you want. If you wanted to make it like a little bit of a lighter yellow to start with and then go over it with your full acrylic colors, you can do that. So we're just getting the general outline going so you can still see where to put your different colors, but go ahead and pretty much cover the whole board in white. Here we go, we're ready to paint with our colors now. So I started off with my yellow, and I will admit that even though we did the underpainting and this yellow is pretty thick and good, to get the desired effect, I still ended up using probably 3 coats over this whole thing. So just get that brushed on. Painting is my favorite part, so I'm really not in a rush. It's pretty relaxing to me, and I enjoy this the most. So I take my time. Sure, I could get a big giant paintbrush and just slap on a whole bunch of yellow, but I just take my time and just do layers and go slow. Remember to have fun with it. I tried to show you a little bit of the yellow, how it would look just right on top of the pink, and you can just see what a difference that color is when you do not have the white underpainting. But while that was drying, just move on to the next one. So I started painting the tip of the pencil here, and I just also kind of played around with 2 different colors until I found one that I liked. You can make your pencils exactly how you want. You do not have to use my exact colors, but this is what I chose for mine. And remember, we're going to cut these out, so do not worry about staying in the lines exactly on the edges where it's not touching the other paint. This was such a fun project to work on. I actually ended up doing this because when I hit 7K, I did a giveaway, and one of my followers requested that we do a teacher pencil. So one of these will be going to her, and I did personalize one of them for her. So I hope she enjoys this tutorial and how her pencil turned out. And thank you for the suggestion. This one was really fun, and I thought a great opportunity to show you guys how you can do this without anything fancy. Even my 5-year-old can get in and help. So I used a little bit of painter's tape just so she could stay within the lines, but have fun with it. Let your kids help. Once it was done with the basic colors, I turned it around and I just painted it with some basic black. I went over probably with 2 coats just so that looks nice. But here we are. I got me a utility knife. This was like $3, and just go really slow and be very, very careful, guys, if you do this route and not the hot foam tool method. I probably will hurt myself with this way before I will hurt myself with the hot foam tool knife, just to be honest. But again, I wanted to show you guys that you can do this with a $3 tool instead of a $30 tool, and being outside and breathing in fumes and all of that stuff. So I scored it really good, and then it breaks apart like this. So not the cleanest cut, just because it is a little bit of a thicker foam board, but just run your knife again along the edge until it breaks off. We're going to sand this down outside, so we still are going to put on our mask and things like that. And then I just cut off the top triangles, so really super straight edges. And then what we did was go outside, and I have some sandpaper sheets right here. You can get those for like $5 or $6. I tear them in half, and we're going to sand the edges. You see me wearing gloves here just because there are so many little particle dust, and after doing this for a while, I just get tired of having that all over my skin. And I do like to use my mask because breathing in little particles is also not good for you. So still not a way necessarily to avoid this, but just take precautions when you are sanding these down. So I wanted to smooth out the edges, especially since we used that utility knife, and I didn't want the tips of it to be so pointed. We wanted to round out the top of it and the eraser part of it. And then I have this cheap Walmart black acrylic paint marker, and we personalized it. So I thought it came out super cute. Now I'm going to show you how we can make this like a little sign where you can hang it up. So off of Amazon, I have these little D-rings and screws for like hanging up artwork. This whole kit came with a whole bunch, and I think it was under $10. So I used a little Gorilla Glue like construction adhesive, and you just screw that in. The glue is just extra protection. But even though this is foam board, I haven't had any trouble with these being pretty strong and holding everything. So this is just going to give us a way that we can tie some pretty ribbon to and further personalize it. But that's another thing I really love about this project, because you could go crazy with the type of ribbon you're going to decorate with. Maybe you want to personalize the front of it with, some fun leopard print or some little daisies like I did with one of them. You can even add, little wooden Velcro seasonal decorations around this. The possibilities are endless. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to try to do to personalize these, but I hope this tutorial is helpful in showing you guys that if you want to try out foam board art, you do not have to do big, elaborate props. You can start off simple like this. That's exactly what I did 5 years ago when I started out with some little peeps and some hearts. You can, again, go as crazy as you want. And here's how they turned out. There's the 3 that I made right there. So I have one for my kids teacher, and I have one for our winner, and I've got one extra one that I will figure out what to do with.